Happy new all-time highs for all of my Bitcoin guys out there. Let's talk about what I'm seeing currently in the crypto market, what I want to see in order to have this potentially stick the landing, and some potential ways that I am trading the new all-time highs that just printed as I'm making this video on Bitcoin here. So, first of all, I think it's important to look at a couple things. Is A, what happens when this occurs before, right? This time we did spike all-time highs a little bit over here and failed. That certainly can happen, just to show you that not always do we hit all-time highs and just rip. However, the other time that this happened was very recently when we went from 75,000 all the way up. And you can see about a 40% up move in a very short period of time. Came all the way back down, touched that, and now we're up. And just a few seconds ago here, we just printed new all-time highs for a second. So with any breakout, I think the major thing we need to look at to begin with is, do we stick the landing? So it is noon my time. So I think 11 Eastern as the time of recording this. We need to have everything hold. So if a breakout is going to persist, first of all, it needs to just spend some time up there. We need to see evidence that the market is not using this as an excuse to sell. And that happens with failed breakouts. The market breaks out, that ends up just being liquidity for the people that are hitting the button to push it lower, and that's fine. What is some evidence that I think that could be showing us that it is time to actually have this breakout? So right here, we're looking at, let's actually get rid of this, the commitment of traders data. And maybe I'll do a whole dedicated video on this if it's something that interests you at all. But uh, let me know, comment, share, tweet at me or whatever if you want me to do a whole dedicated video explaining the commitment of traders data. But simply put, this is showing the positioning of your large speculators inside the Bitcoin futures contract, which is going to be a good proxy for the rest of the world. If we are below this line, that means the people in Bitcoin are net short. And if we are above this line, it means Bitcoin is net long. So if we look at the failed breakouts that happened here last time, you can see that the positioning was long. So people were buying this breakout and buying, anticipating the breakout. The one that didn't work, or the one that did work, sorry, is when they were broke out, but the average or the net positioning of your speculators, and again, speculators are kind of the dumb money out there, the people just taking bets on the market, they were short and it broke out. And that created this big, big spike. Then, funny enough, right here, when they became long again, all of a sudden that was the top, that was the top of the market. So very interesting just to see. And if we zoom into now, you can see again, just like we were back here, we are breaking new all-time highs. We're pulling back a little bit from it here. Again, 109.5 or so is all-time highs. But we are breaking new all-time highs, and the positioning is net short. I think that that's power to us because it's saying that if the stocks, if the market in this case is breaking new all-time highs, Bitcoin, and the average positioning is net short, they have to cover. They're wrong, right? It's very, it doesn't make it super complicated. If you are short a security and it's hitting new all-time highs, you can't argue that you're making money on it. It's just not happening. So that is the first thing that is very interesting to me. It makes me think that we have a good chance, not 100% chance, but we have a good chance to stick the landing here. So what do I want to see personally? I think you can go into like an hourly chart and look at the last couple times we tried to break. We kept getting up to this, 107, 108, and again, 109.5 is the all-time highs. We backed off. We got back to the 107, backed off. Got back to 108, back off. So we just broke again, right as I was talking to you guys. We were up here at 109.5, and we need to see a couple 1 hour candles, ideally base high sideways or get to 110, and just show that there is not this wall that we can't break through at all-time highs. So a little bit of sideways consolidation or breakout. That's kind of step one. Step two, I think, is just general crypto market participation, but we're seeing a lot of that. Right? If we go to Dogecoin, it's not at all-time highs. I don't think it's ever going to be at all-time highs, to be honest. But it's not down. It's starting to break out. If we look at, just pay attention right here as I scroll through, ignore this one. A lot of these markets are breaking out. Right, 2% on Solana. We can look at that, right? Not at all-time highs, but showing some strength in Solana, showing some strength in Ethereum, which is still far from all-time highs. What I didn't want to see on the breakout is that Bitcoin is breaking out, but nothing else is going on. And at the same time as Bitcoin's breaking out, if we just take a look at equity markets, they're recovering nicely. More bad news, right? This was the Moody's downgrade that we didn't care about. And this was impending nuclear war, which we don't care about, uh, because the positioning on the SPY is the same as the positioning there on Bitcoin, where they are net short, so they have to be buying. So a lot of things are pointing in the favor. Now, when it comes to how to potentially trade this, well, there's a couple ways. So MSTR is not quite at all-time highs yet. So MSTR is an interesting way to trade it. Again, long term, I don't think that this is a good thing that he's doing all this weird debt stuff, but who cares about that? Line go up, so we should get involved if line go up. So as we are pushing out here on MicroStrategy and we're getting closer to highs, that's very interesting. I'm not a big fan of the miners personally. They are going to participate if Bitcoin is very, very strong, which you can see that, right, Mara is breaking out here. You can do that. There are some big short interests that we are seeing inside of the crypto miners. The thing I don't like about the crypto miners in general is it's a hard business. I worked at a crypto miner for a while. That's a story for another day, but it is a hard business to make. Um, some of the other ones, Coinbase is very interesting here. So if I look at the long-term chart of Coinbase, this one is obviously going to participate if we are going to have new cycle highs in Bitcoin. This is kind of opposite to the miners where these guys make money. They've recently added to the S&P 500, and this is a very kind of cup and handle look that we're breaking out here in Coinbase. Short term, we've been consolidating with Bitcoin, and now it looks like we might be pushing. And then we both have Robinhood and Webull that are doing well as well. These are both looking at these kind of cup and handle style looks. So if you're an equity person, take a look at maybe Coinbase, Robinhood. Obviously, not investment advice. These are just ways to play uh, Bitcoin. And then lastly, we have ETFs now, right? So if you just want to own the actual instrument itself and you're in your money's in equity markets, you could just buy the actual instrument. So for me, it's sticking the landing. That's what we want to see. The first pullback was met with buyers, but I want to see a close today, maybe a couple hourly candles holding above all-time highs. That's going to get me interested because the idea behind the hold is you want the news of an all-time high to get spread out there. So CNBC will start talking about it. They'll start talking about it on Twitter, all of this. And we know that people chase all-time highs. So might not be the right thing to do, but in a security like Bitcoin, which is very momentum driven, I think you can certainly do it. So again, happy all-time highs for those who celebrate. And until next time, get away from the screens.